So good morning, everyone. Welcome to a Brilliant Businesses podcast. My name's Nick Bryant, and today I'm on location at R2B Business Solutions, Red to Black, and I'm with Darran Hathaway. Morning, Darran.
Good morning, Nick. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Good to see you. Thank you for doing this. R2B Business Solutions, as I said, Red to Black, that kind of gives you a clue about what they are and who they are, but they resolve financial problems for small business owners. Darran's already told me his story, and it's already been on the Brilliant Businesses website, but tell us again, Darran, how you got into work, because you worked on the other side, on the debt collection side, didn't you?
That's right. Yes. Many moons ago, I was a certificated bailiff, so I would be out there at the sharp end, knocking on people's doors, knocking on businesses' doors, and demanding money.
Yes.
Or else I'm going to remove goods and take them away to be sold.
Let's dive into that a little bit. Because there's the TV programs about it, isn't there, and the bailiffs and stuff. So, did you get any difficulties with that? Was that dangerous?
Well, at times it could be a bit threatening. But on the whole, no, it's not dangerous. Most people are, understanding of the fact that you need to be there and the reasons for being there. But naturally, when it gets to that point where you're really pushing them and saying, "I'm sorry, but with regret, I've got a court order here that says I've got to remove goods," it can start to get a little bit heated, and you have to have the skill set to calm people down and get control of the situation so that it doesn't develop into something that's dangerous. Yeah.
So how did you get into that? Because you have to be a calm person, right?
Yeah. You've got to have a cool head. You definitely don't want to be, sort of a fiery type of individual who's just going to respond back to any sort of threats. So I got into that. I thought the debt industry would be a good industry to be in many ways. There's always going to be people that are in debt one way or another. So being a bailiff, going out there and collecting debt, there's always going to be work for that. There's always going to be a need for that. And what I realised sort of through that journey, so when I started out, I would be going back around to see people on a regular basis. These be, I'd be going through the files. I've been there before. I've
they recognise you?
And they recognise you after a while. So I wouldn't say you necessarily build up a rapport with anybody as such, but they know who you are when you're standing on the doorstep or when you walk into the shop or whatever it is.
I guess that's a benefit for you actually, because they know you and they're ready for you. I guess it's not so much of a surprise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And did you work for in private companies, councils?
Bailiffs are generally private companies, but they work for councils. Tax, so HMRC would be one of the collections. Another one would be court debts, so fines, such like. So it's wherever you pick up the contract. So if you're picking up a contract to collect on behalf of, for example, Wealdon District Council, then you'd operate in the local area. Okay. And
that was for individuals. Obviously, business is a completely separate thing. Which is what you're leading to.
All councils will collect either council tax or non-domestic rates, so business rates.
Okay, right. Okay, so there was that side of it. So then, how did you then get into what you're doing now with R2B? How did that come about?
Well, it was because of that continual circle of going back and seeing people on a regular basis. I thought, hey, you're paying me to come along here and threaten you, ultimately,
of course,
with removal of goods. If you were instead of spending that with me, if you were spending that on paying the liability, you could probably get in front. And it ended up it was a conversation, a bit of a random conversation with somebody who was out there offering debt solutions to people, and conversation started. They had a need for my skills. I wanted to learn more about their business and how they delivered those solutions. And ultimately, I made the jump from collecting debt to helping people who were in debt survive it, come out the other side, and hopefully move forward without any debts.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So how long ago was that? When was R2B set up?
Well, R2B's only been established for about 5 years.
Okay.
Or in fact, coming up on 6 years now.
Right, okay.
So I've worked for other companies doing exactly the same thing before this, but been on this side of the fence for the last 16 years, give or take.
And you prefer that?
It's a much better day,
So how does it, talk us through, if you can, an average day? Let's do that. And so someone calls you up and says, hey, I don't know what to do, I'm really struggling. What do you then do? How do you work that?
Well, we need to sit down with people, and we try and do everything face to face. There's the initial sort of conversation. What are the problems? What are the pains? these are the types of things that one needs to be thinking about. But then it's a question of sitting down with them and just going through it thoroughly, everything, because even though there might be a pain on one thing, invariably there's some difficulties elsewhere as well. So for a business, is it down to cash flow? Is there really a business to be moving forward with?
Yeah, right.
That's the other key thing. Has it gone too far? Is it beyond the point where we can turn it around and save it? If so, then we're looking for a soft exit. So how do we close it all down in a compliant manner, but enable the business owner to exit in the best possible way for them?
So when you said there's usually other stuff around it, does it go into their personal lives as well? Because maybe they've got problems at home and therefore that overspills into work life.
Oh, absolutely.
So you have to get quite personal with them and find exactly, you've got to really get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, absolutely you do. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to develop that relationship.
Well, they need to trust you, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. So we need to get everything out in the open as quickly as we possibly can, understand exactly what's going on, because the last thing we're going to want to do is to understand half the story, set off down a particular path only to find out it's the wrong route because there's something else lurking in the background that we're not aware of.
They've not told you.
Yeah, so we're very, very clear with everybody. Please tell us everything from the outset, or else we could just waste a whole load of time just going in the wrong direction.
Yeah. So you probably build close relationships with those people going forward. Do you? So once the work is done, do you never hear from them again? Or do they? How are you? Because you delve into their lives a bit.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we're part of it, and we can be part of their life for quite a long period of time as well.
Yeah.
Not just a few weeks. It can be months, possibly even longer. So we do get to know people very well.
Yeah.
You do build some friendships.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's great because moving forward, those people that we do manage to help become great advocates for us.
Sure.
And will recognise the symptoms in others that they know.
Yeah.
So, I was there once.
Yeah.
I know what's happening. I don't know necessarily all the details, but I know something's happening. You need to have a chat with somebody.
Yeah, that's good, really good referral, isn't it?
Perfect.
So I guess the goals that you set them obviously have got to be realistic to get them out of it, and that must be quite challenging as well, because although having said that, I guess once you know everything, then you've got the power to set them goals so they can get out of it. Because I think that's probably one of the problems they may struggle with, is actually creating a goal for themselves to get out of it.
Yeah, well, some people just don't know where to turn.
Yeah.
Where do you start with the problem? And if everybody's, if every phone call, every time you open a letter and it's another debt collection letter and somebody else is threatening to do something, you tend to shut down.
Yeah,
and
head in the sand.
Yeah, absolute head in the sand. You just don't want to deal with it. Whereas we can come in, look at it, whilst it doesn't affect us personally, so we can take a slightly different view of things.
Yeah.
Naturally, we're in it with the client, and we want to solve the problem for them as quickly as we can. But we can, we can take a slightly a bit of a back step and just a different view.
Yeah.
And so, okay, now this is what we need to do. We need to get a bit of calm here. We need to get a bit of breathing space. We need to take a little bit of time. So it's not going to be any rash decisions, but we're going to set out a plan. Yeah,
because I think when people are in those sort of problems, they do think, I've got to get this done, I've got to get that done, because that's going to happen, this going to happen. Yeah. And I guess if you can just sort of take that away from them, that's going to calm the situation, isn't it? Because decisions may not be the right decisions when you're rushing.
Absolutely. We see that all the time.
Yeah.
Many times where people are under pressure, they make a decision or overcommit. And that's another big no-no. Yeah, someone's banging on the door, wants some money. I know I owe you some money. You overcommit to how much you can afford to pay, and then later on it all falls over again, and you're right back to square one.
Oh man,
that's from both sides, that's just not good.
No, that's just like you're sitting on their shoulder looking after them. It's really good.
Absolutely.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Explain your if you can, your fees. How does it work? How do they get their money from you for helping them?
The way we structure our fee base is very much on a fixed fee. So we don't we don't get into doing hourly rates or anything like that. We will charge a fixed fee and get the job done.
Okay.
So whatever that job is, whatever we're there to do, then we'll do it for that fixed fee. And if it takes longer, then that's on us.
Okay.
If we can get it accomplished really quick, then that's great for both parties.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. It keeps it nice and simple, doesn't it? And as far as areas, how far do you go? all over the UK, or
we'll go anywhere.
Over the world.
We are all over the world. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
No, we're referral based, so we can't control where those referrals come in.
Of course.
And if it's up in the northeast, northwest, then so be it.
That's where you go, and you go to people's houses and sit down with them around their dinner table, I guess, and just if you have to.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I guess there has to be an area of confidentiality and discretion when you're talking to them. That's obviously paramount for them as well as you,
Absolutely. I guess. Yes. Yeah. But the last thing anybody wants to do is air their dirty washing in public, isn't it? As they say. So no, it's absolute key to what we do. The only people we're authorised to talk to are the creditors.
Yeah.
And we'll not be talking to anybody else unless there's an absolute need and it's authorised by the client.
And do you work with insolvency practitioners and accountants? And because they obviously recognise your expertise and push the people your way as and when needed.
Absolutely. Well, equally, I mean, in terms of insolvency practitioners, there are certain solutions that we cannot deliver for a client. Yeah, we can advise on it and we can prep the situation and gear it up to go through that solution. But at the end of the day, we need the likes of insolvency practitioners to deliver things like liquidations, administration, that sort of thing. So if it's going to go into a formal process, then we need them to be part of it. Yeah.
Can you give us an example? I know that's probably a bit of a silly question because it's all confidential, but I don't know, maybe like skirt round one that's a bit of an example of how you've helped someone?
Give me some time to think about it.
We'll come back to that, shall we?
Come back to that
another day. Yeah. All right. Well, that's kind of wrap things up because it's been. I wanted to know a bit more. Not that I'm in financial trouble, but it's always nice to hear how it all works. And I hope some people out there, if they are struggling, then they know just that they can get in touch with you and just and talk to you. Really, it's the first thing is picking up that phone, isn't it? And for a free consultation, or do you?
Absolutely free. Just. If somebody is out there who's got those difficulties, don't leave it too long because your options just narrow every day. They're just reducing down to nothing. So the earlier you do seek some help, the better. And sometimes it's really simple, straightforward stuff. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't have to be that bad. Yeah. But have the conversation. Speak to somebody. Go and speak to a trusted individual. Yeah. Go and talk to somebody about it. Yeah. And
go
ultimately.
Yeah, brilliant.
Resolved.
Yes, good. Well, thank you, Darran. All Darran's details are on the Brilliant Businesses website. So if you need him, as he said earlier, if you need any information or just picking up the phone, please do so. He's there for you, and I'm sure they can help you in the long run. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, and we'll see you for another podcast soon. Thanks, Darran.
Thank you very much. Thanks.